It was only this week that the world learned about a secret meeting between Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, and Saudi boxing mogul Turki Al-Aki. The reason they kept it quiet was to avoid any distractions, like the chaos from a brawl that happened when they were all in the same place. Crawford, who's been waiting patiently for the right moment, was hoping Al-Aki could convince Canelo to sign a massive deal for a big fight. And it only made sense for the three of them to sit down and talk things through. The main goal of the meeting? To drown out all the media noise and focus on making that dream fight happen. Fans have been buzzing about it for a while, and now it's all about setting the stage for something huge. Have a real discussion on what they all could do to make the fight happen. Canelo was a little difficult and unrealistic with his prices, which frustrated Terence Crawford and got him into a brief war of words with Canelo Alvarez would-be.
But it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We're not talking about yet about the fight. Me and you're gonna know each other, and then we wanna see
It was
what.
about to get out of hand. Turki Al-Aki intervened, and only after that did Canelo bring his prices down and make an agreement. It looks like this meeting happened right before Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez showed up at the Ring Magazine Awards in London this weekend. While they were there, both fighters had some serious talks with the influential Turki Al-Aki about making their big fight happen. And now, report from ESPN Knockout's well-known journalist, Julius Giulianis, is suggesting that the two have already reached an agreement. Fans are excited because this could mean the epic showdown we've all been waiting for is closer than ever. Things really started picking up this weekend when Turki Al-Aki hinted that big things are coming. In an interview with Ring Magazine, he said, "The ring is the Bible of boxing, and we're close to seeing the white smoke on the horizon." He went on to say that 2025 is going to be a wild year for boxing, and he wasn't joking. Al-Aki had put talks on pause earlier, struggling to break the deadlock with Canelo Alvarez about the fight. But now, both Crawford and Alvarez were seen posing with Al-Aki, and that's a clear sign that things are finally moving in the right direction. Could this be the start of something massive for boxing? Fans are definitely hoping so. Possible, we'll see, said one of the fighters, leaving fans hanging for now. "We want to sit down, take our time, and figure it all out." At first, it seemed like a lose-lose situation, but the idea of these two boxing legends going head-to-head is still one of the most exciting things fans are hoping for. The buzz around the potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is everywhere, and while it's not official yet, the thought of these two pound-for-pound champions facing off has everyone on the edge of their seats. Fans can't wait to see if this dream fight will finally become a reality. Fans worldwide. Canelo last fought in September, successfully defending his unified super middleweight titles against Edgar Bunga. Crawford, meanwhile, recently moved up to 1554 pounds, defeating Israel Madrio to claim the World Boxing Association Super Welterweight Championship there.
There's loads of things going around at the moment, including a big clash with Canelo Alvarez. Can you tell us what's going on in that situation, and can that happen next?
We shall see.
Last August, Israel Madrigal, the WBA light middleweight champion, added the 154-pound title to his growing list of world titles across 4 weight divisions. Right after Crawford's win over Madrigal last summer, Canelo Alvarez continued his reign by successfully defending his WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight titles. He picked up yet another impressive win in a division he's dominated since 2021. Now, fans are eagerly waiting, wondering when the day will finally come for these two powerhouse fighters to meet in the ring. Could we be getting closer to seeing it happen? Only time will tell. When these two finally meet in the ring, it's going to be an explosive fight that has everyone talking. Both Crawford and Canelo are preparing for what could be the biggest fight of their careers. The 39-year-old, two-time undisputed champion, Crawford, is already putting Canelo on notice. On social media, Crawford promised to shock the world and take home the win when they finally clash. "I'm going to shock the world. Watch. The best is yet to come," he said, hinting that he's been ready for this moment all along. Fans are on the edge of their seats, wondering if he can really pull it off and change the game. This is a massive challenge for Bud Crawford, who'll have to move up 2 weight divisions to take on the 34-year-old Canelo Alvarez. Canelo has been on fire in the super middleweight division, beating big names like Gennady Golovkin, Caleb Plant, and Jermall Charlo. Even though there's a clear weight difference, the excitement around this potential super fight keeps growing. Fans can't stop talking about it. So, the big question is, do you think Crawford has what it takes to defy the odds and pull off a huge upset? "I'll beat him, no doubt about it," Terence Crawford boldly said, showing his confidence that he can take down anyone who steps into the ring with him. Amir Khan, who's the only boxer to have faced both Canelo Alvarez and Crawford, shared his thoughts on this potential fight in an interview with Box Nation. Khan, who fought Canelo at a catch weight of 155 pounds, admitted that Canelo's size is a big advantage. "Canelo is a beast," Khan said. "I've been in the ring with both of them, and I think size makes a huge difference. That's why we have weight divisions to begin with." With all these opinions floating around,
Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see.
can defy the odds and beat Canelo? The hype around this fight just keeps growing. Amir Khan shared his thoughts on the potential fight, saying that while Crawford is incredibly skilled, there's a big difference when facing someone like Canelo. "Don't get me wrong, Terence is special, but then there's getting hit by a guy like Canelo," Khan explained. Canelo, the WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight champion, has shown just how powerful his punches are, especially in his fight against Edgar Bunga at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. "I like Crawford, but Canelo is a beast in that weight class," Khan admitted. "Honestly, I'd advise Crawford not to take that fight." Having been stopped in the 6th round by Canelo back in 2016, Khan knows just how dangerous Canelo can be. So, what do you think? Could Crawford really take on this challenge, or is Khan right to be cautious? Alvarez talked about how tough it would be to face Canelo, and just how physical the fight would be. "What a fight that would be," he said. "I'm definitely rooting for my boy Terence, and I want him to win, but it's going to be a tough one." He also made an important point. Does he really need this fight? I don't think so. He's already done so much in his career and beaten the best. He's untouchable, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters out there. But Alvarez gets it. If it's a big payday, I understand why it would happen. Why take a risky fight for less money when you could go for a tough one and make serious cash? Even with all the risks, the money could be too good to turn down. What do you think? Should Crawford take the challenge for the big payday, or is the risk not worth it? Khan really respects Crawford's skills, pointing out that he's capable of competing at the highest level. But Khan also made sure to remind everyone of the dangers a fight like this could bring. "We never want to see fighters get hurt," he said. Reflecting on Canelo's fight with Jermall Charlo, Khan said, "I think Canelo just outpowers him, beats him to the punch. He might not outbox him, but he's definitely stronger and quicker." Canelo's short response has only made boxing fans even more excited, sparking talk that this huge fight might be closer than we think. Shakur Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion, has shared his thoughts on the potential matchup. He believes Terence Crawford would beat Canelo and make it look easy. Stevenson pointed out that he's been saying for years that Crawford would win in a fight against Canelo. "A few years ago, people would have called that crazy," he said, showing how the conversation around this fight has changed. "When people see the talent of Terence Crawford, they'll understand just how good he is," Shakur Stevenson said, clearly confident in Crawford's abilities. Crawford, the WBA champion in the 154 pounds light middleweight division, is planning to add 14 pounds to his frame for this huge fight, which could end up being the biggest payday of his career. Shakur Stevenson has always believed that Terence Crawford's style is the key to beating Canelo. Speaking to TalkSport Boxing, Stevenson said, "I think Crawford beats Canelo." It sounds like Stevenson thinks Crawford will stand toe-to-toe with Canelo in September, but that's not really Crawford's usual approach. He's known for his smart, calculated moves, especially when facing punchers like Canelo.
Jermall Charlo playing out.
I think Canelo just outboxes. Well, no.
Is Terence Crawford the fighter who can finally beat Canelo? Crawford is known for his smooth footwork, using his jab and quick movements to land punches while always staying on the move. He doesn't stay in one place or go on constant attacks. His more aggressive fight against Errol Spence was a bit of an exception, mainly because Spence wasn't fully recovered from his car accident. The idea of Terence Crawford taking a tune-up fight before facing Canelo Alvarez seems pretty unlikely. Crawford isn't known to back down from a challenge, and the risk of fighting a super middleweight before their big showdown in September seems unnecessary. If anyone can jump up in weight classes and handle it, it's Crawford. There's really no one quite as mentally tough as he is when it comes to pushing himself. Before facing Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford might first take on a few opponents in a catchweight fight, likely around 163 or 164 pounds. These potential opponents, such as McKenna, Liam Smith, Austin Williams, and Kyron Davis, are seen as less challenging as they rank lower in the middleweight division. Bradley's message was clear. Even though the weight difference is often discussed, he firmly believes Crawford has the skills and mentality to take on Canelo. He shared that someone once told him to study both fighters, and after doing so, he's convinced that Crawford has what it takes to win. Fans are excited to see what happens when these two champions face off, and Bradley's support only adds to the growing anticipation for this high-stakes showdown. Then there's Jermall Charlo, a fighter who's smaller than Canelo and was no match for him in terms of skill. But still, Charlo lasted the whole fight. Now, when fans say Canelo is going to knock out Terence Crawford, it's worth questioning that. Given Canelo's struggles to end fights lately, it's not as simple as some make it seem. Crawford is no easy opponent, and this fight could play out differently than many expect. Come on, guys, Bradley made a good point. Didn't we just watch Alexander Usyk fight Tyson Fury, who is about 50 pounds heavier than him? Canelo and Crawford are the same height, and Canelo's not a natural 168-pound fighter either. Usyk is an amazing fighter, no doubt, but guess what? Crawford is too. The great ones always find a way to make it work, no matter the odds. Now, Devin Haney, if you want to get back to where you were, you need to go back to your roots. Remember where you started and what got you to the top in the first place. And don't forget, Crawford has a 74-inch reach, which is about 3.5 inches longer than yours. It's all about finding those little advantages and making them count. Canelo's known for his counterpunching, which helps him slow down his opponents, but Bradley believes Crawford can still win. He thinks Crawford could use his distance, landing straight shots in between Canelo's wide hooks, and wear him down as the fight goes on. Canelo's already a low-output fighter, so Crawford could really tire him out by the later rounds. Fight easy, Bradley says, and it's a point that many boxing experts agree with. While some people think Crawford has the skills to win, most in the fight world believe the size and power difference between him and Canelo is just too much to overcome. Now, when it comes to a potential Canelo versus Crawford fight, it really seems like it's up to both fighters. Crawford, who became the undisputed welterweight champion in July 2023 after stopping Errol Spence Jr. in just 9 rounds, added another huge achievement to his name earlier this year. He became a 4-division champion after defeating Israel Madrimov to grab the WBA world title. Pretty impressive, right? The stage is set, but will we get that dream matchup? It's all in their hands now. Title at 154 pounds, Mexican icon Canelo has also enjoyed his fair share of success in recent years.
With Canelo, obviously, he had his fight with Edgar Berlanga announced recently. Not received necessarily the positive outcome and reaction he'd have liked.
Picking up the undisputed super middleweight title in 2021, he fell short in a challenge against the then World Boxing Association light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol, but the 34-year-old has since picked up 5 wins on the spin. Crawford has taken down big names like Gennady Golovkin, Jermall Charlo, and Edgar Berlanga, building a legendary career. Teddy Atlas, a top boxing trainer turned analyst, gave his take on a potential fight between Crawford and Canelo while speaking with Fight Hub TV. He made it clear that he'd find it hard to go against Crawford. When it comes to a potential fight with Canelo, the challenge is huge. Canelo's a monster. Bigger, stronger, and he can punch with timing. But just because Crawford is smaller doesn't mean he can't find a way. Crawford's smart. He'll come up with a game plan that makes Canelo use his size, instead of the other way around. Crawford's already achieved a lot in boxing, but beating Canelo would be his biggest win yet. Canelo, the super middleweight champion, has only lost twice, once to Dimitri Bivol and once to Floyd Mayweather. It's the Bivol fight that Crawford's trainer, Brian McIntyre, we'll be analyzing closely if they ever face off against Canelo. Now, there's been a lot of buzz around a potential fight between Crawford and Canelo, and many believe Crawford is at the top of the list for Canelo's next opponent. After months of media attention, fans are eager for this fight to become a reality. What do you think? Could Crawford really take on Canelo, or is this matchup just a dream? The excitement is definitely building. Crawford has been determined to make a fight with Canelo happen, even if it means moving up 2 weight classes to prove he's the best. He knows the size difference will be a big factor, with Canelo being much bigger, but Crawford is confident in his ability to handle the challenge and make his boxing skills shine. Crawford's fight with Israil Madrimov at super welterweight didn't go as many fans expected, leaving some wondering how he'd handle someone like Canelo. But true boxing fans know Crawford has what it takes to beat Canelo, just like they knew he'd beat other big names. It's simple, they say. If you really know boxing, you can see it. Canelo Alvarez has become known for fighting twice a year, typically in May and September, with his September fight falling on the weekend that celebrates Mexico's Independence Day. Since 2022, he's consistently scheduled his bouts for these months, and it's expected that he'll do the same this year. This makes it all the more interesting to see who his next opponent will be. Why are we still waiting for that second fight to happen? I don't know, man. I don't know. They still got to work things out and see where they go from there. I know an opponent, although it seems that the fight is more media than competitive as Crawford fights at 154 pounds, the super welterweight, 2 categories below that of the Guadalajara native. However, both Crawford and Sheikh Turki Alak are trying to convince Alvarez to accept the fight, for which he was asking for $150 million. Given how unconvincing the fight, one name that's been talked about as a possible opponent is Christian Billy, a 29-year-old French boxer with an undefeated record of 28-0. He showed his skills in his last fight, beating Sergey Derevyanchenko in August. Billy could be a serious contender for the WBC title, and while the belt might not be on the line, it's a fight that many people are starting to see as a real possibility for September. In a recent interview with Fight Hub TV, McIntyre spoke highly of the undefeated Crawford, who's being linked to a potential fight with Canelo in May or September. McIntyre believes Crawford has everything he needs to win a 3rd undisputed title. Any real boxing fan knows Crawford can beat Canelo. You've got to really know the sport to say that, McIntyre shared. McIntyre made it clear that hardcore boxing fans believe Crawford can beat Canelo, just like they were confident Crawford would beat Spence. Then, he shared his thoughts on Conor Benn's recent performance. "I didn't even watch the fight," McIntyre said. "Some coaches were watching it while I was driving and they just said he looked terrible." When it comes to the upcoming fight between Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman, McIntyre thinks it's going to be a good one. Tszyu has the momentum right now, especially since Keith has been out of action for a while, he shared.
That believes in hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo, just like they knew Bud was going to beat.
McIntyre kept it simple when talking about boxing, saying it's really easy if you understand the sport. You can see what's going to happen. He believes Crawford will do what he needs to do, but when it comes to the Tszyu versus Thurman fight, he's unsure. Right now, I see Tszyu winning because he has the momentum. Thurman hasn't had that, and it's like riding a bike. Once you're off for a while, it's hard to get back. Who do you think will win this fight? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. That's all for now. If you want to stay up to date with the latest boxing news, big events, and all the action, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're the first to know when we drop new videos. Catch you next time. Peace out.